Wonder Woman. Wednesday.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to a special edition of Wonder Woman Wednesdays. We're talking to Mike Pingel, author of The Q Guide to Wonder Woman, as well as a host of other books. He's also an actor, collector, and a good friend to some of your favorite celebrities. The video of this podcast is available on our YouTube channel, so we can share all the great pictures that Mike provided. We're going to talk about his books, his friendships, and some of the time he spent with Lynda Carter right here on Wonder Woman Wednesdays. I'm talking with the great Mike Pingel. Sorry.
What? The great Mike Pingel?
The great Mike Pingel.
Stop.
Because...
Hold on, let me get my checkbook. I'll send that right out to you. I'm turning off my phone so so no one calls in.
The thing is...
So Lynda Carter's not calling.
Well, if she calls, my gosh, pick up. But the thing is, I keep like learning more and more about all the great stuff you do. Like when originally I was introduced to you, it was just a mutual friend of ours, David Bernstein, who lives out there in California. In fact, I saw that you just saw a show with him.
Yeah, we went to Into the Woods last night.
Yeah, that sounds fun. So David knows that I'm a crazy Wonder Woman fan. And like, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 years ago, whenever it was, he's like, you need to be Facebook friends with this guy, Mike Pingel. You'll love him and you'll love his posts and all that stuff. And I did. So you were kind enough to friend me, and I enjoyed your posts, and then totally separate from that, I decided to start doing this podcast, and I'm looking for a book to get started, because the first episode that I was going to do was going to be not only about the pilot, but about the background of Wonder Woman and the show. And I needed a book that sort of was a good general overview, and I could only find one in print, and that was your book. The Q Guide to Wonder Woman.
And this is the new version that's out now. Oh, what is wrong with this? There it goes.
Okay. So I was gonna that's
the original one that came out, and Allison Books closed. So I got the rights back, and so I put them under since I have a dirty house behind me, it's all fuzzy, so you can't see my. So when my mom watches this, she goes, "You need to go clean your house." I'm like, I know that. But this is the new version of it with Glenn Hanson's.
The channel.
I'll send you a copy. Okay. But this one actually has more than that one does. Go ahead.
Well, now I have to get that one. Okay,
yes.
because this was great. This really helped me out. But the funny thing was, I didn't know that you had written it until I got the book. And looked at the author, and I'm like,
what?
Hey, that's that Mike Pingel guy. So that was awesome, and it's terrific. And so that's going to be my first question. Like, what led to you writing this book?
Okay, well, what led to writing the Wonder Woman book was I had originally done the Q Guide to Charlie's Angels, which was the queer guide to Charlie's Angels. I had written a Charlie's Angels book, and I had been approached. I had a couple friends who had written other Q Guides. It was a series for Allison Books, and I was like, I can take what I already wrote for Charlie's Angels and make it, fun and wacky or whatever in the way they wanted. And then what was interesting about Allison was I was like, so you have all these Q Guides. Do you have a parameter or an outline you want everybody to use? And they're like, no. And I was like, no, it's a common, like, just go do whatever you want. So I did that with Charlie's Angels, and they loved it so much. They asked me to do Wonder Woman. And at the same time, someone else was doing the Brady Bunch book, the Q Guide to Brady Bunch, and they fell out. And so I was asked to write the Brady Bunch book, which I did again, which I also did at the same time as doing Wonder Woman. So I was doing 2 books at the same time. So that was really fun. And the Wonder Woman, they just loved it. I mean, a lot of it was because it was the first and only book just on the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
It just focused on the TV series, Lynda Carter's basically her career as Wonder Woman, and where, mostly I just looked at that series. And a funny story is I was doing a book signing at Golden Apple down on Melrose, and my friend always remembers the story because this guy comes up, and he was a little timid, and I was like, don't be timid. I'm as geeky as you. There's no reason to be. And he was like, my only question is, why don't you talk about her jumps? because in the book I write, her what what she was doing as Wonder Woman in that episode. She was using her arms, she was using her lasso, but I never really put jumps in because I didn't think it was that exciting. And I was like, and I said that to him. I said, well, it's just because, it's just not that, it's not that huge of a leap for Wonder Woman to jump over the 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 fountain,
Right.
that's always
the hedge
in
or
the
wherever
opening.
she's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he was okay with that answer. And I was like, whew. But Wonder Woman fans loved it. And that was the really nice thing about it because, I deal with different fan bases. When I did Charlie's Angels, they're a little bit, Charlie's Angels fans are, what's a good word? Mom, close your ears, bitchy. Okay.
Okay.
Brady Bunch people hated my book.
Really?
Downright hated it, said it was horrible, did not like it. I don't even think it sold. Actually, it never was released through Allison. They closed by that point, and I had re-released it, and they hated it, and I pulled it, and I have not released it again. But Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman fans were like, "Don't mess with our girl," and then once they read it, they're like, "We love this book," and that was really nice to have that the fans actually embraced the book and lovers of Wonder Woman and Lynda Carter, because at the time that was the only Wonder Woman we really had. So
right, yeah, it was published in the early 2000s, right?
Yes, and
so you had met Lynda Carter by this point.
By that point, yes, I did.
Okay.
It was funny because I was working with Farrah Fawcett. I was her assistant, and the person that was producing Lynda's shows, her first show was up in San Francisco, and they invited me to come because they wanted Farrah to do love letters at the time with somebody else.
Right.
And later on, it didn't never happen, but it was in talks with Lee Majors. But at that point, they invited me up, so we flew up there. Not Farrah, but a good friend of mine. And that's when we met her. We went backstage, and it was a big brouhaha because she wasn't really doing meets and greets at the time either. So
right.
We got to meet her, and although the first book, that book, the Q Guide, does not have an interview with her, the new book does have an interview with Lynda, and
okay.
I have interviewed Lynda, gosh, I would say about 6 times. For her shows. And so those are also, I also reprinted those in the books too. So because I worked for WeHo Times, I worked for Frontier Magazine when it was out, and we did a lot of interviews with her, and that's when I got to know
her. And like, what do you think of her? Tell us about her.
Lynda is amazing. I adore her. She is everything you'd want in a Wonder Woman. And she's sweet and kind, and she's been always sweet and kind to me. And actually, she hired me to be her personal photographer when she got her start on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's right.
Which was about 5 years ago, I think 5 or 6 years ago. So I had done a lot of photography during her shows that she's used them on her website and other publications and that kind of stuff. But she wanted me to come in, and so I literally was with her that whole day. She wanted me to come. Well, I was originally supposed to meet her at the Star with her publicist, Pete, and I got a call. She's like, "Come into the hotel. I want to do some behind the scenes stuff." I'm like, "Okay." So I go to the hotel, and literally got in there, started taking pictures, did some videos, and then went down to the car. And I was wearing this red and white striped shirt, which I find hysterical because the only reason I wore it was so Lynda could pick me out in the crowd, so she could do the photo with me and then do it with everybody else, right?
Right.
Like, where's Pingel? So where's Waldo? So we were going down in the elevator, and there's 2 huge SUVs to take us to would take them. I just assumed I was going to get my car and drive, to the event. And she was like, "You're in that car, we're in this car." And I'm like, "What?" So I get scurried into a car. We're getting in the car. Pete's calling me on the phone going, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm in the car with the makeup people. We're on our way." He was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so we get there, And so we do the whole event, the VIP room. I do the, I sit with, all the media's behind me, and they have an actual space for me. And I take all the photos and all behind the scenes. And we all get in the car. We go to the after party. But the funny thing is, my clothing that I was going to change in for the after party was in my car.
Oh,
So I had to wear that stupid shirt through the whole night, through the whole day. I was like, okay, that was a choice. That was a choice.
Mhm.
But that was an amazing day, being
Yeah.
with Lynda, being with her family, and just really taking it all in and getting all the shots of all her friends. And, just it was an amazing moment for her in her career.
Mhm.
But even for me as a photographer, it was a fun day. And, if you ever been on a line with photographers on a red carpet, they're not, I mean, they're nice, but they're
Mhm.
all looking for their own shots. They're
Right.
not, and me, little me, la 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 la, I'm coming out with Lynda, and they're like, "Who are you? And what are you doing?" And and I was like, "I'm just taking pictures for Lynda." So it was a fun day to capture it for her, and she had an amazing time, and her family had an amazing time, and all her friends were so excited for her. And yeah, that was probably the highlight of me and Lynda. I love it.
Awesome. So, and is that the last time you spoke with her, or have you spoken to her since then?
She came back. She did another. I think she did another tour. That was in
Mhm.
2008. I think she came back one more time.
Okay.
Yeah. She. I always go to see her, and we always do an interview, and you know, it's not like we hang out or anything.
Right, right, right.
It would be nice,
That would be nice.
but
So, so
yes,
you mentioned Farrah.
yes.
And that's, for anybody who's familiar with you, and I'm gonna definitely recommend that people check out your website and everything. And there's a lot of stuff on there about you being Farrah's assistant. Um, so talk about that. Like, how did that come about, and what was it like? As talk about as much as you want. I know there's a lot there.
Well, yeah. How does one become a fan and become Farrah Fawcett's assistant? It was something that I never expected to do, and I didn't want to do. Which is really funny because I was like, do you want to be Farrah Fawcett's assistant? No. Why would I want one of my favorite angels to yell at me? Because,
Right.
if you've ever been an assistant, you know what it's about. Your life is their life, period, 24/7,
Mm.
7 days a week. Um, I would make plans with friends. I always had to cancel because I always had to go do something. So that was my life for 2.5 years. But how it came about was I was on her show Chasing Farrah. I was one of the fans who were chasing her. The original show Chasing Farrah was loosely supposed to be me chasing her.
Mhm.
And what happened when the camera started rolling, they were like, that's where the craziness is when she walks in a room and it's all the craziness. And if you watch the series on TV Land, I think you can find clips on YouTube now.
Mhm.
It was an amazing 8 episode show. I was on, I think, 6 of the shows
Mhm.
in different clips, and there's one you just see my hands. Um, but yeah, it was a fun show. So after the show was done, Farrah wanted to come over and look at my collection. And so um, Craig Nevius, the producer and the director, brought Farrah to my apartment in the evening, late in the evening, because Farrah never did anything really at any time during the day.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so she came in and she was looking at all the pro art stuff that they produced because she didn't know everything they had produced. She wanted to get a listing of it, and she was trying to get the rights back to her poster. And so she was in my house and in my bedroom, and we just sat there going through boxes. And I wish I had taken more pictures, but sometimes when you're in the middle of things,
Right.
you forget about that stuff. Plus, it wasn't any. This one was in 2006, and cell phones were just coming into game, and was cameras were not like they are now on your cell phones. They're nowhere near like they are now. And so we took a couple pictures at the end. I took a picture of her looking at the stuff, and yeah, we just had a really good time that day. And then they left, and she was looking for an assistant, and Craig had thought and suggested me. because I was looking for a new job. I had just bought a new car, the Cobalt car that I bought, and I needed something to do. And she was like, "No, he's a publicist. Why would he want to be an assistant?" And at that time, I was asked to come interview, and I was like, "Heck yes, I want to see your house." Um, I was like, "Yeah, you know, what little 8-year-old fanboy of Charlie's Angels does not want to see inside Farrah Fawcett's house?"
Right.
And it was the condo in Wilshire, and so I went in, and I interviewed with her, and it was a really nice interview. I left, and I said, well, that's nice. I'll never take that job because I had been an assistant already, and I knew what it entailed.
Uh-huh.
And I was on the phone with my good friend Charlene Tilton from Dallas, the Dallas TV show, and I said, "Charlene, I'm being offered to be Farrah Fawcett's assistant," and she was like, "Do it. I don't care if you do it for one day. Then you can say you were a Farrah Fawcett's assistant." And I was like, "Oh, I guess I could do that." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then I was there for 2.5 years.
Wow.
It ended because I had actually gotten the deal with Allison Books for 3 books, and the cancer was getting a little harder, and other things were happening. So kind of split ways at the time. And I was still her friend, and I still ran around and did stuff for her. And I baked her cookies during the time, and so it was a nice split. But yeah, that's kind of the way it happened organically with that. With Farrah, and it was just it was 2.5 years, and just
hanging out with Farrah 24/7.
Making
her cookies,
making food.
Yeah.
I was her publicist at the time too, during the cancer. So I mean, if you look at any of the old stuff during cancer as a spokesperson, Mike Pingel, what's really funny is I would be sitting there on the phone with people, magazines or whoever it was, put them on hold. We would talk, and then I would go back and talk to them. So she had, she knew what was going on, but it was really funny because most people didn't know that I was also her assistant in the media, that I was her spokesperson or her publicist, which I was. I released all the releases and dealt with stuff that way too. So I did a lot of stuff and I also created stuff for her website with her. We bonded together with created like the t-shirts and that kind of stuff. So we did a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun.
Now, so you mentioned that Charlene Tilton was a friend of yours by then. How did that happen?
Wow, that's a very good question. Let me see. How did I get to know Charlene? I know how I got to know Charlene. A friend of mine was doing a play called Tell Veronica, and they hired me as a publicist.
Okay.
And it was really funny. I've told her the story, and she was like, "I was never mean to you," but first time I met her, she was like, "Oh, hi." I was like, deal with that. And of course, that was way over faster than you could ask for a tequila shot. So, that was way beyond. I've known her for probably 25 years now. So she's a really nice lady, and she lives in, she's a bestie, and she lives down in Nashville now, and I see her now again when she comes into town. And when if I go to Tennessee, sometimes we haven't been able to really connect down there, but yeah, no, she is a cutie patootie and funner, and we've had some fun times. There won't be a book on her. No
book. Okay. So let's go back, because how, I mean, like you said, at one point you were just an 8-year-old kid in love with Charlie's Angels. How did you get from there to what seems to be a very connected lifestyle where you're running into these celebrities? What's the trajectory there?
Well, with the Angels, it's not even running into. I know them very well, and they know me very well. A lot of it was okay, so I'll start the little history. When I was a kid, I collected Charlie's Angels. And then we moved around. My father was in the Army. So, and then, when I was growing up, my parents were like, you have to, throw some of this stuff away, which maybe is the reason why I still collect today. Because some of that stuff was really rare. Because I was in Germany for most of the time during the heyday of Charlie's Angels. Like I didn't see the last season until later on TNT when it was in reruns. But so that's where, you know, the love of Charlie's Angels and the collecting happened and all of that fun stuff happened with me. And then when I moved to LA to become the huge star that I never became, I went to a party and they had collected celebrity dolls and their whole house was full of celebrity dolls. It's Chrissy McNichol and Cher and Donnie and Marie. And they were showing me all this stuff and I was like, oh, you know, I'm a kid of the 70s and the 80s. And I was like, oh, I love all this stuff. This is great. And then we went in the bedroom. They had them all around the top of their bedroom. And so I was looking around and I turned around. And as you walk out the door, the 4 Charlie's Angels dolls are on the top of the right above the doorway. And I was like, I want those. And so they introduced me to a thing called Toy Shop. I don't know if you've knew about that. That was before the internet. You got this magazine newspaper and people would get it FedEx to them. They would pay money to get it FedEx. So you could circle and you would have to call the people. Hello, I would like the Charlie's Angels puzzle or the mirror or whatever they're looking for. Circle it. Hopefully they'll keep it for you. Write a check, send it in the mail, and then you would get the stuff back.
Wow.
And so it was a whole ordeal. And it was like, you know, you called and someone already got it because they had it FedEx the day before you got it, or you ran down to, you know, the newsstand to get it before anybody else could. It was a big hunt. Like that's what I love about collecting sometimes, is just going to find it, going to hunt and find something. So I did that for a great while, and my roommate thought I was crazy. She thought I was like cuckoo because there was boxes of Charlie's Angels crap coming to the door. They were sort of like, who am I living with? And then I was like, I started meeting friends and in the collecting world, and it's like, is there a newsletter or something for Charlie's Angels? And they were like, no. And I was like, maybe I should start that, which then I did. I started Angelic Heaven in 1995. And I just started sending out to all the publicists. I lived in LA, so publicists and Sony and people who were producing stuff at the time, because at that time they were producing t-shirts and other collectibles at the time. And I just started monthly just sending stuff out. And I grabbed a couple of my friends and they became editors, and we would write them and I would design it all and send it out. It was like a fanzine, and it was in the stores here down in town, and people would get it around the world. I would send it internationally. And it went on for 4 years as a paper newspaper. And that's when I started meeting I didn't really meet the Angels yet, but I got to know their agents and people and they would just send me all the stuff. They would let me know what was going on. And the big break for me was, there's 2 big breaks. First one for me personally was Deco Drive in Florida, which was it wasn't online, but it was a TV show. And they were interviewing Cheryl Ladd for a movie, Little Angels, Pretty Little Angels, I think it was for. And they interviewed me too. So they interviewed me and her. And so I'm watching it. And then they interviewed a fan who had collected together. Anyways, to show their choice. And I was floored because I'm sitting there. She's talking about how she knew about my newsletter because, of course, of her agent, because I send it to her every month. And it was me, and then it was Cheryl, and then it was me, and then it was Cheryl. I was like, I was in 7th heaven. I was like, are you kidding me? This is happening? Really?
That's awesome.
So that happened. And then she was my first angel to meet. I met her because she had her book called Nutty Little Windship, and it was a children's book. And I had gone down to meet her, and it was, I was, it was, as I said, I was an 8-year-old boy was inside me going, that's Cheryl Ladd. She's my favorite angel. She's right there. And literally, I walked back and forth like, I'm assuming it probably was 5 minutes, but I felt like 20 minutes. And I finally was like, just go up and talk to her. And I did. And we talked for hours. We talked for at least an hour. I gave her the newsletters. We took pictures. We just hung out. And so that's when my friendship with Cheryl started. And we had been friends ever since. And then right after that, I met Tanya. Tanya Roberts,
Yeah.
who became one of my besties. And we did an interview for the newsletter. I met her in person at a yogurt shop right after we had done the interview. And then literally 2 days later, I'm on Fox News locally. They were doing something with her and me for that 70s show. So we're on that 70s show set with her, and I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
And then the other big break was Entertainment Weekly did a story on me. They did a story. And Yahoo, which was the biggest internet search engine at the time, chose Angelic Heaven because I went online at charliesangels.com as one of the fan sites, the sites to go check out, and which blew me off the internet. And I had to pay a lot of money to get back on because at the time it was me and McDonald's, I think. There was not a lot. But so that's how it kind of all started. It started with collecting as a kid, collecting as an adult, newsletter, meeting Cheryl Ladd, meeting Tanya Roberts, and then it's been history ever since. The one I was really the hard one to meet was Shelley Hack, and I had filmed for an E Entertainment episode show series. I don't know I think it was a series, and they were going to film her. I'm like, can I go, please? I'll hold on. She doesn't need to know who I am. And then, of course, I was sitting there and they're interviewing. I'm like, she was like, Shelley was like, I don't remember the Love Boat Angels. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. The Love Boat Angels was when you were coming on. It was a 2 picture. It was double. And she was like, everything about Charlie's Angels. I'm like, yeah.
Wow. I have to ask because when I was a kid, I was a big Kate Jackson fan. Did you ever meet Kate Jackson?
Yes. I saw her yesterday.
What? Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We're good friends.
That's awesome.
I see them all. That's the thing about except for Shelley, I don't, she just moved. I don't know where she lives. I don't stalk anybody. I don't have any restraining orders. I just want to put that out there. Okay. No restraining orders. I met Jacqueline and Kate for the very first time when I was Farrah's assistant.
Okay.
So yeah, they came over to the house, and I literally almost fell over. I was like, what is going on here?
Wow.
Why am I in Charlie's Angels? And she had cancer, and Farrah would not get in the picture with us. And she was like, I have cancer, Mac. I'll take the picture. I'm like, no, you need to be in the picture. So I do not have a picture with a set of angels, which is the saddest thing in my life. But yeah, she put Farrah took the picture. I'll send it to you. She took a picture of Kate and Jacqueline and myself, and she put her Warhol in the back of it. It's like, interesting. I have lots of pictures with 2 angels and me, but not the 3. And that I would probably give anything to, even with season 2. Well, season 2 is my favorite because Cheryl was my favorite angel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And Farrah would give me a lot of shit for it. She would. She would introduce me to people, and she goes, Mac, who's your favorite angel? I go, Cheryl Ladd. She goes, yep, see, he doesn't even like me. Because I came to her as an assistant with Charlie's Angels baggage, or Charlie's Angels toys all over me.
Right.
So people were like, "You're letting that crazy person be your assistant," and they came to find out that I'm the most sane person in the world. So I might have a lot of pink Charlie's Angels toys, but I'm pretty much sane.
Can I tell you, speaking of Charlie's Angels, I said I was a Kate Jackson fan. I actually started what I called the Kate Jackson fan club.
No.
But I didn't do anything with it. I just painted it on a door. And that was the clubhouse where me and my buddies would meet and, talk about 5th grade stuff or whatever it was. I didn't actually have a newsletter. I didn't try to contact her. I did collect clippings, but I just wanted to call my little club the Kate Jackson fan club, but it wasn't really a fan club.
Did you have to bring your trading cards to get in? Show your favorite Kate Jackson trading card?
I was the only one that
No.
had any of that stuff. Nobody else cared. I mean, they liked the show, but anyway,
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
I don't think I actually knew what a fan club was at the time. I knew the term, and I thought, well, I'm gonna have the Kate Jackson fan club.
That's true. I mean, well, fan clubs at the time were, folder, and they sent you just promo pictures,
Hmm.
and for, $3.99, and then they want you to buy a poster for $5.99, and
Yeah,
it's it's interesting. And like, today Farrah Fawcett's swimsuit poster is now being sold at Spencer's right now in a new reprint that's going on. It's selling out everywhere at
did she wind
Spencer's.
up getting the rights to it?
Yes, we
Okay,
did. We
so
did.
so when people buy it, it goes to her estate, or
Yeah, it's part of the foundation now.
okay, great,
So yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
it's interesting that you say that, because we had gone in, and Craig and I were in the archival trying to find the contract. And during the last final, not well, the last year of her life, Craig was able to get it back. So yeah,
Fantastic,
Trickless tried to sell it, and then it never went. And then we finally got it back. She got it back. So yes, it was good. It was one of those things that she wanted to do,
hmm
get the rights back of her poster. So yeah,
wonderful.
it's one of those things. I mean, it was fun working with her as far as all the collectible stuff that, or the collection, or the new stuff we made for her websites that people collected.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'll have to tell Kate about your uh, your special room.
My fan club, which was just, yeah, it was a clubhouse. It was like a shed in the yard. We called it the summer house, and I don't know why. I think it used to be a chicken coop in the 50s, but then it became like a shed where people would store things, and I turned it into a clubhouse and put KJFC on the door for Kate Jackson fan club.
Oh my gosh,
I even had one
I
of her
love it.
I had one of her glossy 8x10s. Like I think it was issued in, I don't know, 79 or something, when I think when the show was, really really steaming
Hot.
along.
Yeah.
Now
Oh,
you were friends with Tanya Roberts,
yes.
and you we some of what we talked about when I wasn't recording. You were talking about the book that you were putting together with her.
Yeah, I'm working on putting a kind of an autobiography of her and me.
Mhm.
We had worked on a book, it was a health book,
Uh-huh.
getting over 40 and fixing, or something. I can't remember the title. But that never actually happened. And then she also wrote a book, started writing a book called Surviving Your Soulmate, when her husband passed away. And so I'm creating a book with those two things intermixed with her career and her memories of her career and my memories of her and meeting her, and just our combined friendship that was, I mean, I can't believe she's gone anyway, but it's still, it's hopefully it'll be a fun book. It's going to be an interesting book for me to lay out and write, because I don't want people to, where are we now? We're surviving a soulmate, and now you want me to, you know, do something with my cellulite,
Mhm.
but it's just it, and I really feel that, I want to honor her and her career, and she had such a huge career. I mean, she was a Bond girl, she was a Charlie's Angel, she was, in the Beastmaster, which was a cult classic. Of
Right.
course, she was in that '70s show.
Yeah.
It was funny because one of the questions I asked her, in one of the interviews, I said, "So you're on that '70s show. When is your poster going to be on the wall?" And she goes, "Well, if we're in '76, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 years from now, my poster might be on the wall." Her poster came out in 1980 during
Oh.
Charlie's Angels.
Mm.
So yeah, I really want to take time with it, and I have all of, her archives of her life, and some stuff I didn't even know. I mean, I didn't know her huge career as a model before, so I'm learning stuff too while looking through all this stuff. That's, someone who had such a huge successful career, and you know I
Mhm.
want to honor her, and I think she deserves it.
Yeah, I know we talked about a couple of other things
Yeah, we talked about how setting my books up.
Oh yeah, yeah. So one of the things I love about this book is it caters to my lousy attention span.
Yes, it does.
Because
That's
you
the
can
thing I like. Yes, I call them bathroom books
uh-huh,
because you can sit in your bathroom. You can get whatever book you like,
uh-huh.
and you can just pick it up and go, huh. What was the show that you watched on the Falcon?
Oh
What
yeah,
number
the
was
the Pluto file
it?
with Robert Reed.
Yes. And
Yes.
where is that? I don't even know what episode. My basis of all my books, my TV version books are basically um the series. I mean,
Mhm.
I think the series is what is the heart of the books because that's why you're reading it. You want to know about the series.
Yeah.
And oh, here was the Pluto File, episode 8, folks. Episode 8.
Yes.
Um, so basically, and you can watch it online on what? Oh, Warner Brothers. What has? I can't remember.
Oh,
Sorry,
the
I should know these things.
the Wonder Woman series.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman series is streaming on something now.
It's HBO, well, Max now. It's called
Oh,
Max.
Max. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's hot here. I have no brain left. No brain. But in this, what I love about the lasso tips, it says Diane has an uncanny ability to see through a hospital walls as she notices a falcon is trying to shoot the professor from building across the street.
Yeah. And I got excited when I read that, and then I watched the episode and nothing. I mean, she saw through the wall, but they didn't do any special woo-woo effects or anything.
No, no, I don't know how that, but yeah, I never met Robert Reed, but he was, he was also in Charlie's Angels. He was in all the shows during
Oh,
the
that's
80s.
right. He did
Yeah.
some Charlie's Angels. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get away from this good boy image of Mike Brady. And
Right.
I did the Brady Bunch book, and by that he had already passed away by the time I was working on that book.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, just creating that. Although the Brady Bunch people did not like that book, and
Mhm.
I've been trying to get it back out, and I think a lot of it for me is like they didn't like it. Should I really bring it back out? Should I really take the time? I mean, it's almost ready. I made a first run of it, but I should, just for me, for my
Yeah.
personal, for my personal life.
And
But
you have and you have that Betty White book.
yes, Betty White.
Betty White.
Betty White. It was originally called Betty White Rules the World,
Uh-huh.
which she does,
Yeah.
and she still does. But the book was with a company, and they closed.
Mm.
And the book got so many pre-sales that they wouldn't even let it release it to me. I had to get my lawyer to get to them
Uh-huh.
to release it because they were just like, no, we're not going to release it. And I'm like, you're going under. What? And then still today, you can see their cover up on Amazon for pre-order still. It's been like 10, 11 years now. And I begged them to take it down because it's hard. That's why I rebranded it because the other one wasn't, I don't think I sold 4 copies because no one ever saw it because the other one was up there. But, it was an interesting thing to do this book because it's not based on a TV show. It's based on a natural human being and her career. And so it allowed me to do a lot of fun things in here, such as what would Betty do? Let's see, what else? The game show. I have recipes for cheesecakes in here.
Oh.
Her regimen of eating, meeting the Golden Girls, just a bunch of things. I mean, in here, there's also a whole thing about how you can make your grandmother that's living in your house or down the street into Betty White. I mean, there's a whole way of doing it in here.
That's
I lay it
awesome.
out. She's to get a tracksuit, make her say some bad words, teach her how to do, just a lot of stuff. It's that's worth $20 by $12.
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
Amazon.com and grab them. It's great.
Absolutely.
But I mean, this, it was sad that she had passed away. I had already started revamping it for her 100th birthday.
Uh-huh.
And of course, she passed away, which was, I was like, come on, Betty, 17 more days. Why? Why can't you hold on? But Betty did it her way. So, which was her way, and she left the earth the way she wanted, and she was amazing. Although I did not meet her, I think we talked about that.
Mhm.
She had a book coming out at the same time, and they just was like, she's not interested in talking to you. She has her own book coming out, so
Mhm.
which is fine. I mean, I would have liked to chat with her,
Yeah.
but I think the book holds up by itself with fun stuff, and
Hmm.
it talks all about her birthday and then her passing on there too. So I'm trying to see. I want to quote Lynda Carter.
Ah,
Hold on a second. Let me see where. I don't know what. As I said, I haven't looked at. Sometimes you look at your books and you're like, I wrote that. What? Because I can't seem to get off the couch right now to do anything. No, she talked about the end of the series in this book. I don't know anything about that because I asked the rumors of a fourth season. And this is Lynda Carter's answer. I think it was canceled. The story I heard that cancellation was because someone teased an executive head of CBS of becoming the comic book network. I think they had the Hulk, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. After you heard they canceled everything except the Hulk. I think that was kind of a whim. We got canceled. Certainly, Warner Brothers did not want to do and the producers didn't want it. We were holding our own pretty well in the ratings. It was a big surprise to everyone. So that was the reason why Wonder Woman closed a shop and Charlie's Angels closed shop. What happened was it was 1980. They had, we just have the writers and actors strike right now. Same thing happened then. Everyone closed up shop, and then they came back and they shot more episodes here. But at the end of Charlie's Angels, it was 1980, and the riches of the 80s were taking over TV. You had Dynasty in Dallas and Falcon Crest and all of those people, all of those nighttime soaps took over, and pretty much everything just left. I mean, everything else was kind of gone by that point because everybody wanted to see what was Crystal was doing, when the next cat fight was happening, and
right.
no one cared about detectives anymore. It was the riches of the 80s and MTV and all that stuff. So that's what happened with Charlie's Angels. But what was fun with the newest movie with Wonder Woman, of course, we had Lynda Carter show up and
Yeah.
supposed to be in the new one, but that's been canned too. So what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? All I can say is if you love something, go out there, promote it, and beg and do a petition, and maybe they'll make it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Absolutely.
Look at the Barbie movie.
That's right. That's right. They said it couldn't be made. And there
No,
it is.
and that was like 20 years in the making too. It took forever. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I just saw it. And that's why I'm wearing pink.
Oh, cool. Wonder Woman.
Wonder
Very
Woman.
nice. Yeah. Very cool. Well, Mike, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm sorry about all the craziness on the internet, but it's just a crazy world. It's a crazy world. That's why I live on Pluto TV watching The Love Boat. Now, that's a book I would have loved to have written, but I have a friend who's already done it.
Oh,
And
wow.
that I have questions, and I'm not even writing the book. And so was Kate your favorite angel?
She was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or is, I should say. Yeah.
I'll let her know.
Thank you. Yes, please tell her for me.
I will.
Tell her hi for me.
Hopefully, I'll see Lynda soon. I'll let her know too.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
Thank
I guess. I mean, I'm assuming she's your favorite Wonder Woman, but
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah. I've got a whole podcast here about her. So
regardless if she can look through walls or not.
I firmly believe she can look through walls. She just doesn't. She's not showy about it.
Those are good days, good shows that were just with good heart and fun and didn't really take themselves too seriously. And I love that, I wrote about them and people get hopefully more fun reading about it and
reliving them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope I talk to you again.
I hope so too.
Yeah. All right. Until next time.
Thank you.
All right.
Until
Take
next
care, Mike.
time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Big thanks to Mike Pingel for taking the time to talk to us today. Be sure and check out his website, mikepingel.com. That's MIKEPINGEL.com. You'll find all kinds of great stuff, including links to his books. I'll also provide some of those links in the show notes. Join us in a couple of weeks when our guest will be cosplayer Frederick Corey, and we are going to break down Wonder Woman versus Gargantua. In the meantime, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible.